Good morning, folks. Welcome to the warm up, your short version stats data pack for everything Leeds United as they head into this away tie against Blackburn Rovers. But a real opportunity this weekend for Leeds United to extend a gap in that top two position, currently 2 points to third place, and Leeds could open that gap a little bit further. Some promotion rivals playing over the weekend as well. This is being recorded prior to Saturday morning, so Sheffield United and Sunderland will already have played, and you'll know the score to that more so than I will, and know exactly what Leeds will need to do today. But we will go through the form guides for both sets of teams. We'll look at the key form going into this game for the home side and the away side. We'll also look at the attack versus defence for both sides all up this season, as well as team news, key players to keep an eye out for, head-to-head records, and projected or expected team lineups heading into the game later on today. So we'll start off with the form guide, and as Blackburn Rovers are the home side, we will start with them. And currently sitting in 8th place in the table, only 2 points off getting into the playoff positions, but a 10-point gap between them and Leeds United at the top of the table. In the last 5 games, they have 3 defeats, 2 wins and no draws in that time. Their last win, an impressive 1-0 away win to Middlesbrough, which really stopped their momentum. A win in that game from Middlesbrough would have had them very much in the mix for the top 2 spots, and they've halted that progress from them just now. From a Leeds United perspective, sitting top of the table, there is now a little bit of a cushion, a 2-point gap to third place Burnley currently for Leeds. 10 points, as I say, ahead of Blackburn. And Leeds' last 5 games, 4 wins and only 1 defeat. 3 wins on the bounce for Leeds United for the first time this season. And as good as that looks on paper, the key form will be what will be interesting reading coming into this game. Blackburn Rovers the home side, and as a home side, they sit 7th in the home form table this season. 5 wins at home from 8 games, 2 losses for them in that time, and they've scored 12 but only conceded 7 goals in those 8 games so far at home. From a Leeds United perspective, this is the area of Leeds that will need to improve this season. The away record has been what's caused Leeds problems up until this point. They're currently sitting in 6th place in the away table. It has been getting better over the last couple of weeks, that should be said. But in Leeds' last 5 away games, 3 draws, 1 loss and only 1 win in that time. Leeds have scored 11 on the road but have conceded 7 in that time as well. About a goal a game on the road for Leeds United so far going in against them. So there is some work for Leeds to do around that away form. They want to make that a little bit better. As Daniel Farke talks about, 2 points per game. That's win your home games, draw your away games, and you'll be fine. So Leeds need to turn those losses into draws and hopefully turn some of those draws into wins, and that could really help Leeds push on this season in the league. When we look at things from an attack versus defence perspective, all of what can we expect in front of goal in this game? We've had 2 really exciting games from Leeds United in the last 2 games, scoring 7 goals in those 2 games as well. Blackburn have scored 20 goals so far this season in their 16 games so far, so they do pose a little bit of a goal threat and can get a goal per game, and they've conceded 17 in their 16 league games so far, so there is and will be opportunities for Leeds United to score against them and create opportunities. From a Leeds perspective, they've scored 31 goals in 17 games so far this season, making Leeds United the top scorers in the division by a little bit of a comfort margin, 2 goals between Leeds United and Middlesbrough, and outside of that, only Norwich sitting with the same amount of goals scored for as Leeds so far this season. From a concession perspective, Leeds have conceded 12 goals in those 17 games, and you take 3 against Portsmouth, 3 against Swansea, the 6 in there, so not all as bad as it might look on paper. So yeah, outside of the odd 2, Leeds doing reasonably well. From a goals conceded standpoint, Leeds United are not the best side in the division. Burnley with 6 goals against the top side in the division, followed by Sheffield United with 9, and West Brom are on 11. And then Leeds sitting with 12 goals gone in against them so far this season. From a team news perspective, some decent news for Leeds United. Blackburn will be without several players and will be without their top goal scorer Andy Vyman, who's been confirmed as missing out on this game. Scott Wharton, Hayden Carter, Arner Sigurdsson have all been confirmed as missing out on this game. So some good news from a lineup perspective for Leeds. From a Leeds perspective, some players coming back. Junior Firpo will be available for selection, and it's an interesting one because it goes side by side with Sam Byram having a late check on a slight bit of a hamstring niggle that he had. We've been told for a very long time Sam Byram can't do 2 games in a week. He was forced to do 2 games in a week because of injuries to Isaac Schmidt and suspension of Junior Firpo, and he got to 58 minutes before the body cracked a little bit for him. But there could be some good news on that. And I wonder, what you think about this as well, and a genuine question. Does anyone think Daniel Farke is a little bit annoyed at Junior Firpo for getting his suspension on the back of just coming back from a suspension, and for what it was for a soft enough headbutt, but a headbutt after a Millwall game? I get the impression if Daniel Farke had the option to not bring Junior Firpo back in, I don't think he would in this game, but he might have his hand forced on this with Isaac Schmidt not expected back to last week till next week, and with Sam Byram having this late check on his hamstring. So it could be a case of no other choice, and he could start Max Verber if he wanted, but I think it's more likely to be Junior Firpo that will go back in there. No Joe Rodon suspension, despite Sky commentary freaking everybody out, and the messages I got saying I jinxed it. Joe Rodon didn't pick up a yellow card. It was a mistaken identity. Hashioka from Luton Town got the yellow card instead. So Joe Rodon's still available for Leeds United, but still sitting on that one game and wants to get past the 19th game of the season, which is the Derby County match, before that goes away and he can relax a little bit. Expect changes in the wide areas for Leeds United. Daniel Farke said none of the wingers will finish 90 minutes in this block of games, and we did see Smart Manor Solomon start the game. I thought he would maybe rest Solomon in that game. He didn't. He started. Thought he had a really good game as well. Last couple of games he started to look like the player Leeds thought they were bringing in, but I do think he'll rest Solomon in this game and possibly bring Dan James back in alongside Willie Nonto, and then maybe you could see a change in the number 10 position, although very unlikely. Brendan Aronson will continue to play in that role until Leeds have another option at least. And then from a head-to-head perspective, these managers have faced off 3 times against each other, but John Eustace has the better of the two. 2 wins for John Eustace, only 1 win from Daniel Farke in their head-to-head clashes. From a close perspective, 7 wins from Blackburn, 3 draws, and 10 wins from Leeds United in the last 20 meetings between the clubs, so it's all very much in Leeds' favours. From a key player perspective, from a Blackburn Rovers side of things, keep an eye on Todd Cantwell. Has a good record, doesn't get on particularly well with Daniel Farke, and will probably want to make an impact in this game. As I said, they are without their top goal scorer Andy Vyman, but they will have Yuki Ayashi up front as well for Leeds to contend with, and won't be an easy day at the office for the Leeds defence. From a promotion rivals perspective, they're all in action. As I say, you will know the result of the Sheffield United versus Sunderland game. I think everyone's hoping for a draw on that one, both teams dropping points, and then if Leeds can pick up a win, Leeds could open a 2-point gap to Sheffield United and open up a 5-point gap potentially to Sunderland. From a team lineup perspective, I got it wrong last week with the changes. I don't expect massive amount of changes in this game, but I do think Daniel Farke will look at the wide area. I think that we will see Willie Nonto and Dan James in the wide areas. I think Junior Firpo will come in at left back. I think the midfield will stay the same. He could again bring in Joshua Gilavogi in the centre of the park if he wants to rest one of the 2 midfielders, but that partnership in midfield has been so good for Leeds United so far. For me, it has been the driving force of Leeds' performances in the last couple of weeks specifically. And then when you look for key players from a Leeds perspective, that's that midfield pairing of Ao Tanaka and Joe Rottwell will be very, very keen for Leeds. I don't think Joe Rottwell's far off scoring a goal for Leeds, and I don't think Ao Tanaka's far off doing it either. They're both having a massive impact on Leeds' season so far this year as things go. Another man in the match performance from Ao Tanaka against Luton Town. Been Mr. Consistent since he's come into a very high level. Expect the same from him. Very key player for Leeds. And Pascal Stroke back to his steady best against Luton Town and very involved in everything Leeds do from a starting perspective. His forward passes, his through balls have been phenomenal. So very important player for Leeds United. And then again, the wide areas, Nonto, James, Solomon, whoever ends up in those areas. Ramazani coming back in. He won't start this game. Farke said he won't start. So it'll be interesting to see the impact that he could have. But just watching Ramazani come off the bench at the weekend against Luton Town the other night, it was fun. It was fun to watch him, and the sooner we get him back in on a regular basis, the better, and he might not be too far away from that. So it's going to be a big game for Leeds United. We'll have to see how things pan out. I personally think a 3-1 win to Leeds. I think we've got goals in us now. I think Blackburn will try and play because they're the home side. Leeds will bring a massive support. Over 7,000 fans will travel to Ewood Park. We'll have half of the stadium nearly when we get there. So it could very much be like a home game and not an away game for Leeds United to be on the road early. If you're going to the game, mind yourself, take care on the road, enjoy the game. If you're watching it on TV, enjoy yourself, enjoy your weekend, and fingers crossed Leeds will pick up another 3 points, but 4 wins in a row if they can. Although I think that if there's a tricky game to be had, this could be a little bit trickier than people think it might be, and I don't think a draw away at Blackburn would be the worst result in the world, to be completely honest, but I would back Leeds. Looking at the forward momentum we've got at the moment after the last 2 games, back Leeds to score some goals. I do think Blackburn will score, do carry a threat, but I think Leeds will handle it for the bulk of the game. So 3-1 for me, and we'll see how we get on. Folks, I'm back on Monday morning for some news, if there is any. If there's no Leeds news, I'll see you Monday night for the review of the game. Enjoy your weekend. Fingers crossed 3 points, and I'll talk to you over the weekend. See you then. Bye.